So the Camino, this is a picture of the Camino. The Camino will enter into that kind of thing. The Camino enters into that kind of relationship. It is a pilgrimage, a spiritual pilgrimage and a physical pilgrimage, as is the Jewish faith, as the Muslim faith. We have Catholics, yes, we have that tradition in our faith. It's fallen out of practice, sadly, but we have that tradition. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So first, I want to talk about this guy. If you doubt me that pilgrimage exists in our culture today as kind of this, I should say, like existential need or experience, you'll have nowhere farther to look than like the New York Times or like look in Discovery magazine or National Geographic. This guy is Paul Spalek, I believe is his name. He's a writer for National Geographic and for the New York Times. And so, the reason why I put him up there is because he's a secular guy, he's a writer, but he has this inherent need, and people like him are popping up all over the world today. They want to enter back into this kind of old world, like what is the word, prehistoric relationship with nature, right? And so it's like this human desire to enter back into the way things used to be, right? Because technology kind of gives us this experience of being kind of crowded and things being artificial, right? And the tree is artificial in this room, right? It's like we want to touch the real things. It's funny, this guy decided to set out on a 7-year pilgrimage. He started in 2013, he'll finish in 2020, to rewalk the steps of prehistoric man from the southern tip of Africa to the southern tip of South America, walking through Europe, then through Russia, across the bridge, across the ice bridge, into Alaska, down through the United States, and ultimately down through South America. He's trying to rewalk the path of prehistoric man. It's funny because he's not the first. There's groups of the people doing this all the time now. People going out on walks just because they want to go out and walk. And it's funny, again, because they have this desire to encounter with reality. Again, that's what pilgrimage does. It helps us encounter with the dirt that we have to walk on. When we drive a car, we like freak out about dirt and we wash it off our car, right? We forget that what the dirt's made of. We forget that every day we have to get up and walk on it. And I think this is one of the things that he's going to talk about. This is him walking through Saudi Arabia with some friends. But he has a couple of quotes that I thought were interesting, so I'll read them to you. He says, "Walking is falling forward. Each step we take is an arrested plunge, a collapse averted, a disaster braked. In this way, to walk becomes an act of faith. We perform it daily, a two-beat miracle, an iambic teetering, a holding on and letting go." And so he starts talking about this idea called car brain, which is like this forgetfulness of reality, right? When you're just driving everywhere. More striking than a car brain's impaired road etiquette, though, are the slow pleasures it misses in life. Towns and villages that were mere smears of speed along busy superhighways became celebratory events savored by my partners and me walking. Our step lightened with anticipation as we wandered into the outskirts. We laughed. We felt good. We flushed with accomplishment. And I like that quote. This idea of walking up to a city, like even today, I realized that as I was driving to Boulder. It's like I drive on 93, right? And I'm coming up and there's Boulder and I drive into it, right? When you walk into a city, you see the city way before you get there. And you're like, I'm getting there. I'm getting it. This is great. Like, I can see it. And then and you have this whole euphoric experience of entering into, and you forget that it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to move from one place to the other. This sounds like, super hippie, right? But it's encountering with the reality of the thing. And that is really something that the hippies get right. It's encountering with the reality of the thing. And I think this guy has a point. And I was trying to say is that this idea of pilgrimage is not something the Catholics are making up to make money or anything. This is something that we need to do to help re-encounter with the world. Our lives speed by, and do we miss the opportunities? I just threw a picture of Anne up here. It's kind of hard to tell. Her name's Anne Stevens. She's a friend of another brother of mine, a friend of mine as well. She's called the Winter Pilgrim. She's from Denver. She's walked from Denver to Mexico City. She's walked from Buenos Aires, Argentina to Mexico City. She's walked from London to Rome. I'm taking a ferry there. She's walked from Sweden to Rome. She's walked across northern Africa from Casablanca to the Holy Land. She's done a lot of pilgrimages. She's from Denver. Studied at the Colorado School of Mines, and decided that she wanted to give up her life's work and become a pilgrim, a Catholic pilgrim. I just put a little quote there of her just saying, it was fabulous, the enjoyment of meeting people every day, relying on their kindness to help me along the discovery of Europe at 3 miles an hour, history, culture, and architecture, gastronomy. I walked from December 16th to March 17th. I didn't think about blogging about that trip until afterwards. Oops, sorry. That was the one where she walked from across Northern Africa to the Holy Land. And so it's just incredible. This experience of pilgrimage is really alive, and I think it's coming more and more alive. And Anne is super cool. She's the one that got us back into pilgrimages. So just so you know, it's something that's real. It's not something. It's something that's becoming more and more popular. So there. It's a funny story. So there are good pilgrimages, and there are maybe you call them neutral pilgrimages. But we do pilgrimages all the time. I, for some reason in college, thought it was really important that I get to the Guinness factory in Dublin. Obviously, I had different priorities at the time in my life, right? And so it's an expression of maybe we all the time do pilgrimages. Maybe like I have to go to Fenway Park in Boston. I have to go and see the home of Justin Bieber. I don't know, that's what Maggie does in her free time. I have to go. Yeah. I have to go to we do pilgrimages all the time, and yet when someone talks about like doing a spiritual faith pilgrimage, we freak out. Not all of us freak out, but we forget how easily we would do these other pilgrimages, right? Well, go to Cancun, we go to this, we go there. But how reluctant are we to go on a pilgrimage that really will have a spiritual effect in us? I mean, it's just not built into our culture anymore. And hopefully we can restore that. Hopefully as Catholics can turn every trip we do into a pilgrimage. Or we'll just end up going to Guinness, which was fun, but not fulfilling as feeling as I thought. I didn't feel like the Holy Spirit, although you can say I was pretty happy. But other pilgrimages that I've done, I think have been really rewarding. Myself, yeah. It's like I don't even know I'm taking the selfie and I take it. But these are 3 pilgrimages I've done just in the last year. Well, really, yeah, 3 I guess. This is a painting by Rembrandt I believe it's Rembrandt, of the Pilgrim from the Middle Ages. So pilgrimages to the holy sites begin in the Catholic faith after Christianity, of course, is brought into as an accepted religion. After Constantine approves the Christian faith as at least acceptable, and pilgrimages start almost right away to the Holy Land. Right? People want to go see where Christ lived. They lived in Rome their whole life, and they had never heard it. They had never seen this place, Jerusalem, where Jesus lived, and they wanted to go see. And the first to go was actually Constantine's mother, Helen, who went and actually brought pieces of the cross, they believed were the cross, to Rome. If you go to Rome, there's actually a church that's called Santa Croce, has the Church of the Holy Cross, and they have pieces of the cross. Rome is a very interesting city. Incredible, the relics they have. So this pilgrimage to Rome. The most visited pilgrimage site in the world, that's why I put this one on there, is Our Lady of Guadalupe Shrine in Mexico City, where I got to go last summer. The most visited by quantity of people. And Latin Americans are very close to Our Mother, and they go walking on their knees through this area. And this is a church that is probably fits maybe 1,000 people, so I'm a little far away from it. It's a very large basilica, I understand. Although it's kind of modern. It's because the original basilica that was really old is falling over because it's built on a lake, on top of an old lake. They filled with dirt. Anyway, so they built the new basilica, and this is. Anyone know what this is? Assisi. It's kind of hard to see. That's Assisi, where St. Francis is buried.
I've been there.
Yeah. So I always got to go to those places this year, which was great. All 3 were super special. Obviously, these 2 were on the same trip, and both in Italy. Oh, and then our destination, the Cathedral of Santiago, where the bones of St. James are. So if you have questions about the history of St. James, we can talk about that later. Again, this is another example of pilgrimages we do all the time. We do backpacking trips, we go on to the Rocky Mountains, but how often do we do a spiritual pilgrimage? This is a pilgrimage we've done in the United States, right here in our own backyard in New Mexico. You can do a pilgrimage to this place called Chimayo, New Mexico. A lot of people go and they get the holy dirt and they put it on, they rub it on themselves for healing. there actually have been many miracles that have occurred in New Mexico, right out our back door, only about 6 hours from here. And I've done a walk of 50 some miles, 4 days we did to Chimayo, and I'm doing it every few months. I'm trying to do it, so it's awesome. Just in your own backyard, you can do pilgrimages down to just New Mexico.
I got dirt in my car from that place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Chimayo.